My name is Amit Kumar Bhattacharya. I am a civil engineer, passed from B College Shibpur, and then earned my master degree from New York University, United States of India. I came back to India and joined Braithwaite Company in 2nd February 1979 as Assistant Manager, Structural Drawing Office. At that time, Braithwaite was taken over by Government of India under erstwhile Heavy Industry Ministry. And Braithwaite was engaged in the various kinds of fabrication job in structural workshop, as well as in crane in our Angus workshop and wagons in our Clive works. It had practically 3 works: Clive works, Victoria works and Angus works. Now Braithwaite's main function was in structural. It was recognized as a structural engineering. Because as you know, it started working in Howrah Bridge and then in 2nd Hooghly Bridge, which is the 2nd longest suspension cantilever bridge next to Verazona Narrows in United States. And that bridge design was done by our 3 groups: Braithwaite, Byrne and Jessop. Jessop fabricated and designed the pylons, the main group, and we fabricated the underframe structure for the bridge. And it was unique in India at that time. Except that bridge, Braithwaite has also fabricated and manufactured and supplied many bridges all over India, in Brahmaputra Bridge and many other bridges, not to name. And then it was very, very popular in crane supply. It had manufactured all sorts of cranes, to name a few: EOT crane, level upping crane, gantry girder crane, barge unloader, and it had supplied to various ports in Calcutta Port Trust, Vizag Port Trust, New Mangalore Port Trust, and in barge unloader, I had personally visited that and watched it in Manwagua Port Trust in Goa. It had a good name in crane manufacturing and a competitor to Jessop only. And it had a technical collaboration with an American company, and it had been manufacturing level upping crane and gantry girder crane also. And in structural workshop, except for the beach fabrication, it had also been engaged in press steel tank. Before the advent of this pattern and other types of polyester tank, in India, they used to use the press steel tank, which is more hygienic, what I believe. Tala tank was originally done by Braithwaite, but that was the concept of the press steel tank. Press steel tank it's just a fabricated tank. It's 4 feet by 4 feet, and otherwise, in metric scale, 1.25 meter. That is a square plate. And you see, if you go to Sawal's company or in some other old places, you see all these 4 feet places are, with a jointing compound, it is joined together. And then in the plate, if it is a ground storage tank, there are 2 ground beam over there on 4 sides in perimeter way, and the tank is placed over there. And then one on the top of this plate, the plate comes up there. And depending on the height of the tank, there is a tank is filled up. And it is resting on a staging. Pressed steel tank means it is pressed. You see on the edge, the plate is there, and in the edging machine, the plates are folded like that. That's why we called it pressed steel tank. P-R-E-S-S-E-D, pressed steel tank. Now, that is the concept of the steel tank. Sometimes if it is on ground, then it is on the ground beam, and if it is on elevated one, then it will be a staging. staging means it's some kind of a structural fabrication with four columns and these bracings and all that. On the top of that, the tank is placed. And water is poured in over there, and from the outlet pipe it is supplied to. And we have exported many tanks, press steel tanks, to Middle East countries, to name a few, in Bahrain, where I had been personally present to look after the construction work. And that was in our workshop in Clive Works. Now it is not done because the market has been captured by the polyester tank. Now, in addition to that, we had started manufacturing wagons, mainly in our Clive Works. And at that time, only two types of wagon were being manufactured. That is, we call it BCNA and Boxen wagon. But after that, we had supplied and exported wagons to, that's in Korea, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Burma, and all that thing. Then came the concept of tank wagons, because you might know that Numaligarh refinery has come up under oil sector, and Braithwaite had captured an order for more than 1,000 wagons of BTPN, that bogie tank petrol wagon. They had manufactured it. And it will not be out of place to mention that by that time I had also matured myself with the Braithwaite, and I took over the charge of marketing department. And in marketing, as a sphere of marketing, I had brought a lot of orders from oil sector, Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, IBP, and we started manufacturing the tank wagons in our Clive Works. But we could not accommodate all the wagons over here, so we thought of making this wagon and also utilize the space in our Angus Works, and we started making wagons from there. Now, in that type of wagon, we needed few items like the tank bottom cap, and that used to be manufactured in our Angus Works. And Angus Works also helped us in supplying the coupler and the bogies, which were very, very difficult, and all the private sector had occupied, like Texmaco, which was our big competitor, they had occupied the market. But we grabbed the market and we started supplying the bogies and coupler. But we had to rely on railway board for the wheels. Only railway board used to supply the wheels, and which we used to procure from Yelenka in Bangalore. And we used to manufacture here and supply them. Then personally I thought that only domestic supply would not be sufficient to make Braithwaite stronger. So I paid attention to the export order. And we had also exported wagons to Zambia, Kenya. And then we got to prestigious order for the BTAP wagon, that is called bogie tank alumina powder wagon. Because in aluminium sector, the alumina is very much required, Al2O32H2O, that is the name. And alumina used to be transported, and the manufacturer for this alumina was the market in Nalco and earlier Balco, which was taken over by Vedanta, Starlight Group. We paid attention to those companies. And the difference between the Nalco wagon and the Starlight wagon is that because in Nalco, the alumina powder used to be discharged to a distant bunker. For that, 6-bar pressure was required. But in case of Vedanta, it was 2-bar pressure because the bunker was silos rather. It was very close by. Now, for the 6-bar bunker, there was a requirement of fluidizing system. That fluidizing system was not available in India. And we explored all over the world and found out that Simostra of France used to supply them. along with bond standard and with the help of chairman managing director of the BUNL group, I had also been introduced to that sector, and we imported the wagons from, the fluid engine system from France. But in case of Vedanta wagon, they were not capable of manufacturing two-bar wagon. So Braithwaite searched every nook and corner of the world. And lastly, we found out, myself and my colleague, Milan Chakraborty, we have identified one company in Switzerland, near Zurich. They used to supply two-bar system. We went there with the permission of the ministry and arranged for this. And we had brought it, and we had, installed this wagon. And those were first two types of wagon supplied by only company in India, supplied to Nalco as well as to Vedanta. And we had supplied so many other wagons. Oil sector was so much pleased with the BTPN wagon supply, which was catering to the need of their Numali or refinery. They had placed repeat order for BTPGLN, that is for carrying LPG gas, which was very, very important. And for that, the distance was of different nature, and we used to make it in our Angus works to make the Angus works viable. And that BTPGLN wagon we had supplied very successfully. Afterward, we were awarded with LPG bullets. LPG bullets means that is the tank supply. The BTPGLN is carried through the tank wagon. Now, with BTPGLN bullet, it is to be stored. And we supplied 8 numbers of LPG bullets all over India, including a very tedious work at Imphal and so many other places. And it was so big that carrying this bullet was really a Herculean task, but we did it. And then Braithwaite, in the meantime, had also, diversified in various project work. In project work, we concentrated on mineral beneficiation plants as well as material handling plant. And to name a mineral beneficiation plant, I would tell you that if you go to Chhatrapur near Gopalpur or in South India near Kovalam, you will find that the sand is slight blackish in nature. Blackish in nature means it contains precious, mineral like butyl, zircon, ilmenite, and all that thing. And those are specifically required for manufacture of paint, and it had to be exported. That project was under guidance of Indian Rare Earths Limited. We participated in one such project along with Mrs. Dostur Co in Calcutta as consultant and another consultant in Australia. I personally had visited Australian company and had taken the technology from them. We had prepared the dredger which was cutting the sand in the seashore and putting it in a gravity separator. Those minerals were being separated in that gravity separator by the process of gravitation, because each mineral had a different specific gravity, and depending on the specific gravity, they were being separated, and they were dried and they were sent to the ship directly from that spot and used to be exported. Indian Rare Earth was very much pleased with that, and they wanted to give us another project in Manabala Kuruchi in South India, and we did it also. And then in material handling project, specifically we did for the coal handling plant in Eastern Coalfield Limited, Northern Coalfield Limited, and we did all such coal handling plant. Along with that, we had also done some workshop complex, ladle repair shop. In steel plant, ladle is required and that to be carried. So there was a workshop to be made, and we made that thing. Ultimately, of course, the project division, it became not viable, so it had to be abandoned, and we came back to the mainstream. Even though I was in marketing as well as in project, I was brought back to my parent division in Braithwaite, and I looked after marketing as well as, workshops and all that. and ultimately I became managing director of the company. I have served in the company for 27 years. I had seen a lot of ups and downs also, because only telling and bragging about Braithwaite's experience is not that enough. So I should also highlight some of the facts which had some backside. In 2002 onward, government declared the disinvestment proposal, and that was, very shocking to the employees. And there was voluntary retirement proposal, and a lot of people had taken voluntary retirement. Most likely, I don't remember correctly, but around 800 people had taken voluntary retirement. And that was the thing. But at that time, we also fought, allowing the help of the unions. All unions were very much supportive, I must say. And without their help, this could not have been possible. And we fought against this thing. And there was one committee called BRPAC, Board of Reconstruction of Public Sector Enterprises. And Mr. Prahlad Basu, he was the top man over there, and he had helped us. And he had also mentioned various ways of taking it out from that thing. And we had fought it. And I personally had attended a meeting with committees of secretary where they had given us an aid, not loan, an aid of 4 crores, which helped the company to prosper further. And there was the thing, and gradually the company became viable. Unfortunately, by 2006, my retirement came because government had reduced the age from 60 to 58, and I had to retire. But I keep track of everything, and Braithwaite has prospered well, and I wish it all success, and it has become a Miniratna one. I was telling the present incumbent official so that we can get Miniratna full, not 1 or 2, Miniratna or then Navaratna. That is all what I can say about Braithwaite, because after 2006, I am not in constant touch with Braithwaite, so I don't know much about its next year. If these companies were allowed to work freely and in many other ways, they like, whichever they feel, it would have been much better. And government, at our time, had also some restrictions, which had not satisfied our employees. But now it's a big company, which is the big sort. Like if you compare with the BHEL or oil sector, they hardly bother about government's directive, because the government is run by their directive, I would say. But Braithwaite, being a small group of government company, they are complied to do that thing. If that shackle is taken out, I believe it will prosper much more, 1,000 times more than what it is doing today. Excuse my saying, I am not complaining against government, but this is my personal feeling. Because you see, government house, what is government? It is an abstract thing. Government is run by some company. Today it is run by one political group. The next day it comes over another political group. I tell you, for example, in 2004, under the earlier regime of Congress, there was for diversity, in BJP at that time, or Janata Dal, I don't remember, they had asked for this disinvestment. And everybody was fearing that their job will be done. A lot of people had taken VRS. But after the changeover, when Congress came, the Manmohan Singh group, he discarded all those things. And it had been doing it again. Had it died at that time, you could not see this Braithwaite. And you could not even have interviewed me at this stage. I don't have any interaction with the present authorities and present officials. Only 3-4 persons are left. But I get the information. And whatever information I get, it had diversified in wagon rectification area and some other areas also. which I appreciate, and I believe, strongly believe, as a marketing man, that it has a good market and Braithwaite will prosper. Someday or the other, I strongly believe that it will be a Navaratna company. That is my desire. So before I die, I should hear that Braithwaite has got it. After my graduation in the mechanical engineering from Jadavpur Engineering College, I joined Braithwaite in 1962. 8th August, I joined Braithwaite, and that was in the capacity of engineers. It was a British company at that time. It was not an Indian company. It was Braithwaite Engineers Private Limited, and it was owned by UK company. And they were and up till 72, it was belonging to Braithwaite and Company UK. And after that, government took over the wagon building unit. And it was as a wagon building unit and structural firm, it gained lot of your orders, and it came to the market with a very good name. As a matter of fact, this Braithwaite and Company, UK, they started it from Burma. Burma pipeline was their main name. Then from there, they had shifted to Bombay for pipeline work. And Muland work, which was belonging to Richardson Cruddas, that was actually their main works, Muland works. As a matter of fact, from Muland work, all these bays for the wagons in main bay, those were all cut and shifted here, and it was made here. And from that, they started this activity here. And they were generally public health engineering and structural, and their patented item, one patented item was there, that was a press steel tank. Any size of tank which could be made out of press steel tank. It is a modular form. It is in 4 feet size, and then the biggest tank of India, undivided India, rather in the world, you can say, Muri in Pakistan now. That was manufactured and erected by Braithwaite, and that was the biggest tank. And there are a lot of other tanks in all over the world. Now, there was an understanding between Braithwaite UK and Braithwaite India that whatever is the eastern region requirement, that will be covered by Braithwaite India, and they will cover the other portion. But there were some sort of your small disputes, doesn't matter, but Braithwaite enjoyed Braithwaite India. Braithwaite India was bigger than that Braithwaite UK. It became bigger. And Braithwaite started activities in the wagon in a big way, because all the export orders, which was never thought by India, it was Braithwaite initiative. We got the first order from South Korea, which was a developed country, and South Korea biggest tank wagon, which was with heating element and all those were actually taken, and it was a World Bank tender, and it was a turnkey basis, that is including design, including planning, including everything till completion. So it was in two parts. One is the design should be approved by World Bank, and World Bank team was there, and we took initiative to participate in that, because there was a holiday for railway wagons, and it was dependent on railway wagon. If we wouldn't have got this order,
and ventured into that export market, we would have been deprived from lot of your areas. But then this march started, and we gained a very, very good platform and from South Korea, we have designed the wagon, and design was approved by World Bank, and it was 4 feet 8.5, not the same gauge. And it was with air brake. At that time, nobody has heard about air brake in the freight wagons. Freight wagon air brake was the first thing which was introduced in that. And that was designed, and I took initiative for that. I spent a lot of time in RDSO, that your Manak Nagar, that was in Lucknow. And I spent a lot of time in the library, and they said, we are not going to design any wagon, because at that time Indian Railways, they were not competent to. They were all dependent on UIC design. And they used to paste it, and they used to go through railway board to get this from here. And these three companies, they used to enjoy the monopoly in that. This is Barn, Braithwaite, Jessup. Braithwaite, Barn, Jessup, BBJ, that group. Then first venture was taken by Braithwaite to go into the export market, and we got it, and we completed that wagon, and our design was approved, and it was one of the best wagon which South Korea has received. And it was with heating element, bogie wagon, 4 feet 8.5, and it was a very big wagon, big tank wagon. So after that we got Taiwan, then Burma, then Sri Lanka, then East Africa, then Yugoslavia, a lot of countries. And these were all export orders. I worked for Braithwaite till 98. 62 I joined till 98. 98 I retired from Braithwaite formally. And then at that time, to tell you frankly, it was BBUNL, Braithwaite Barn Jessups. And it was a decision by the government, because at that time modernization of the steel plants were coming up, and a lot of work which was, if you consider this capacity for all the three companies, it was one of the biggest force. So they were competent also, because the second Ugly Bridge and all those which you are seeing now, it is one of the best bridge in the world, I am telling you, because I was involved right from the greenfield to the... And this bridge, I tell you, will up till now should be considered as the best bridge in the world, because those four pylons that Jessups, they have done it. But it was in the BBUNL's name. BBUNL means Braithwaite Barn Jessups. And we have a common forum. And we used to meet there, and any problem, we used to sort it out there in the BCM meeting. That is your Braithwaite Barn Jessups, BBJ's, that office we used to meet. And to tell you frankly, I have worked not for Braithwaite only, for the engineering industry to come up, heavy engineering industry, or all these three companies, and it should come up in a big way. Because some of the import substitutions which we have made, nobody would have dared for going into that, but Braithwaite have dared. So far as Braithwaite is concerned, I tell you, Braithwaite was always flexible. Flexible in the sense, there was no sort of because we have done Indian Rare Earth Complex, Chhatrapur, and that is still working, and it is working very nicely in that heavy element. Then NALCO, National Aluminium Company, because that is only your repetitive anode beam manufacturing, and that was 362 or something like that. What I recollect. And that was a challenge for us, because that flex welding for your bar, that was aluminium flex. It was a very, very integrated, and we have integracy was there. and we have done it. And it was supposed to be imported from Aluminium Piscini, that is, who have actually financed this aluminium company, because it is a buyback system. Whatever will be produced, France will take it. So that was the concept. And this sort of your ideas of Braithwaite, that was only Braithwaite, nobody else. And at that time, I had a lot of contribution in that. And everybody knows about it. All the chairmen, they were all dependent on me. Rather, I shouldn't tell. I can take that pride. But I have never aspired for any, because I wanted to work in such a way that these companies, I have a very soft corner for Braithwaite, because the opportunity which I have got in Braithwaite, this opportunity I wouldn't have got it anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. Right from contract to engineering to everything. I got involved, and I used to take it as a challenge. And that's why my experience is today, if you consider that I am more than 60 years in the technical experience, and as a professional, I have now experience for shipbuilding, I have experience for any engineering, and that is my pride. Actually, that Braithwaite is the best, and up till now, I always feel for Braithwaite, and today I am not disclosing it. If that order from America, it comes, export order, that will be the brightest future for Braithwaite. Brightest. I'm again repeating it. And that was again my initiative in that. And I am not exaggerating anything. This is the fact. And I think if we have patience, and we must have that patience to wait for another 10-15 days, we will definitely get that. And as a professional, I tell you, I am quite satisfied, and I have never gone for any sort of your financial gain or anything. And whatever position I have got, with that position I have moved, and I have got the free access everywhere. And that is I have got this world scenario in the business market. And I was one of the members in the your Ministry of Commerce for boosting up exports. Because that Braithwaite, consecutively we got 3 to 4 hours from EPC, Engineering Export Promotion Council. And that was a record for Braithwaite. The leadership which Braithwaite have got now, I tell you, it is one of the most important leadership which was required for Braithwaite. Braithwaite was all along enjoying lot of your advantage in that, and Braithwaite have got the right person who has taken the initiative, and today whatever you are seeing, it is his scheme and his leadership. And I salute him for your achievement which he has done, and he has brought the platform of Braithwaite in such a position that amongst the three companies, 2 are already closed. But Braithwaite will never close, and it will go on, and it will be one of the best engineering firm. But today, whatever is your modalities which has been followed, and it has been followed in a very, very methodical manner, and keeping in view the ultimate objective. And I tell you, the leader who is now the present leader, he will come up like anything, and he will take that leadership wherever he is, because he has got your idea about that, and that is what is required.
Myself, Alok Kumar Chatterjee. I joined this company 1969, 18th August as trainee. After completion of training, I joined this company as engineer in 71. When I joined this company was Braithwaite Company UK. And during my training period, the company was taken over by Government of India under the Ministry of Industries. And that time, company had employees around 6,000 with big employees. Company used to run production departmentally by own employees only. Initially, when this company was under British management, Mr. Bingham, during 63 to 67, company ran very well. That time, price of the railway wagons was good. But gradually, our competitors like Besco, Texmaco, HDC, Titagarh wagon, they came with us, and they being private organization competed with us, and to get order they reduced the prices of the wagons. So with the profit we had to make during previous years, gradually the margin of the wagons became low, and gradually profit margin seems less, and we had to maintain the total employees. Besco, Texmaco, Titagarh, they used that time introduced for contractor labor. They produced whatever the quota. If we get 3,300 wagons and they are also got 3,300 wagons, they completed by 3 months by contractor laborers. But we had to continue with our big employees with the same wagons throughout the years. In this way process, and there is no provision from the Ministry of Industries and working capital. We have to generate our own working capital from our wagon making. From railway wagons was not sufficient, that's why we ventured for export wagon. But these are the main cause due to which at time Braithwaite became sick and passes through difficult phase of the company. But that time there is no process of recruitment was allowed, but the reduction of the employees also not possible. Some VRS came in 2-3 times, but response was very low. In this way, we carried out all the employees along with us. In 2002, a VRS came, about 800 people took VRS, and at the same time 58 to 60 to 58 retirement age introduced by the government. That time 1,800 people at a time retrenched and 800 VRS. And employees were reduced from 3,600 to 800. So that was the plan, another plan for revival of the company. And after 2003, with small employee, we started manufacturing of wagons, and till 2000, we could not allow contractors inside the factory due to their political pressures. There were unions, 6 unions was there. There are some opinions. We able to introduce contractors for our production job only on after 2000. And by that time, our structural shop was closed for non-availability of orders. So when we got order of structure, railway beach in 2000, we had the chance to introduce contractors' labor to contractors reuse in the factory. On that, since we have by that time all good workmen who knows the structural job is already retired, so we had the chance to introduce contractors. And then in 2000, we introduced contractors for production, which is the now normal process of all industries. Nobody is keeping their own employees. Introduce contractors for particular orders, and after completion of the order, they retain them. Braithwaite also got chance after 2000 onwards this process, and on natural way the further employees were reduced, Now Braithwaite has limited employees which can be maintained by the company. And all other order which we are receiving, that is done by contractors' labors. This is another one part. And Braithwaite in UK, from the time, there is good package for employees' welfare. That is one major was the canteen facilities. For all employees, one canteen was there, and with the nominal charge, that is 10 naya paisa. With 10 naya paisa, they used to get meals. That is meal, one rice, dal, one veg sabji, one non-veg sabji, and chutney. This thali you were given with 10 naya paisa. This was from the British time, and we had company had to continue till 1980. And that is a big expenditure. And apart from that, there is another snack system was also there. In 3 naya paisa, samosa, kachori, all that was available for tiffin. All this expenditure company had to bear. And this part of welfare continued up to 1980. Gradually it was withdrawn. In the different phases where we tried to viable the company economically. Because for production, no assistance from ministry we get. We have to generate for production, we have to produce, and from that margin only, we have to maintain everything. Now it has become reduced to employees maintain. There is now offloading system is also there, but initially it was very difficult to introduce all these things. These are the different periods I mentioned for ups and downs, what you asked for. I am not very much close to this at present with Braithwaite, but from information I gathered, it is remarkable change and remarkable development within 5 years. It is out of our imagination also, and that is also system adapted outsourcing. All are not maintained by companies. Orders we are receiving at the moment in the outstation, and that is managed by their outsourcing by our managed. But the profit margin coming against government companies out. This is the big opportunity, and this management, this CMD, very much efficiently is doing this.